Hello, welcome to Azure Kubernetes Deployment Series Part 21. In this series, we are going to learn how to deploy microservices into AKS cluster in multiple environments using Argo CD and Kustomize. In Part 19, we have already learned how to deploy microservices using Helm and Argo CD by creating 5 different Argo CD applications using the CRD application, that is custom resource definition. In part 20, we have already seen how we can how we have deployed microservices into AKS in multiple environments using Argo CD and Helm chart by creating a single Argo CD application using the CRD application set. In this series, we are going to learn how to deploy microservices into AKS in multiple environments using Argo CD and Kustomize. And here we are going to create a single Argo CD application by using the CRD application set. You can see here under Argo CD applications, I have created a multi-environment customize app set. If you see here, I am using matrix generator. So in this generator, there are two different generators under this. So you can see one is git generator and one is list generator. Okay, so this matrix is nothing, it's the multiplication of these two generators. So here, if we see under customize manifest, if you go to the folder customize manifest, I have 5 different deployments, one configuration and 4 services. So here in case of customize, we have the concept of base and overlays. So overlays basically, uh, we have to create some environment specific customization. So you can see this is our customization overlays, and I have 3 different configuration here. Okay, you can see dev. In the base, we'll just define the deployment YAML and service YAML, and customization we have just mentioned. It is using these two manifests. Okay, and in overlays, we'll override this whatever in the deployment YAML or the service YAML. If anything we are going to update, we can update it by using either here I just mentioned it's deployment patch, so it will modify some information from this deployment YAML. Okay, similarly, we can also modify the service information under this environment specific customize manifest. Okay, so this I have already explained before, just to memorize, I'm just going through it. Similarly, for fraud, we have base and overlays, and that is also the same thing for other environments as well. Okay, under config, you can see I have the config map, and here I'm using this config map as my customization. And here, to make it consistent, because in this case, right, if I'll not create overlays for, actually overlays is not required for config, because I'm not going to override anything. But if we are changing anything, any configuration information with respect to any of the environment, then that is required. So in that case, you can include it. So what I did, just I have included customization, and it will directly follow or use the base whatever config customization is here, right? So this you can see here in this customization is pointing to the base folder, and in both base folder, this customization again it is using this config map. So this way it will just link the different manifests. Okay, so here I have just mentioned it, but I'm not customizing anything for this configuration. Okay. But if you want to do anything, you can just add a file here, and that information we have to that file again we have to add in this place, like how we are doing for uh, here. Not here. Here we are adding this deployment patch, right? This deployment patch we have to add in the customize. Okay. Yeah. So this is very simple. We are mentioning the path. You can see I'm using this customization path here, customize manifest path that I just now explained. Okay. Then the list, we are mentioning the dev test prod. Here we are creating 3 different namespaces, because in our case we are deploying the environments into different namespaces. Usually it should be into different cluster, or in some organization, enterprise organization, they used to make the prod in a entirely different subscription as well. Okay, but for simplicity, I just made it. And I have created 3 namespaces, and in that namespaces, I'm deploying the pods or the services as a different environment. Okay, but if you want to use cluster, then there is a cluster generator. So that cluster generator we can include instead of a list here. Okay. Now the name of our service or the deployment what we're creating, it should be path based name. Path based name means it may be customize manifest then dash config or customize manifest dash order. Like that it will take here. Okay, path based name. Sorry, uh, so that is not correct. Base name is nothing. It is pointing to this config order product rabbit message queue or front storefront. Okay, then hyphen it will suffix the environment name. It may be dev test.prod. We can see that. And this is the repository we are using, Kubernetes K8S21 deployment. Okay, if you go this is my repository. What I'm taking as the source of truth for the Argo CD. Okay, next the path. Okay, so which path it will include here? If you see here under customization manifest, I have the base name. It may be config order or product. Then I have the overlays here. If you go under any this one, you will get an overlays, and from this overlays we have 3 different environments. So it will take the environment here. Okay, so it is nothing, it is a combination. It will take combination of all these things. Okay, so there will be again 15 deployments will be there. So here these are five deployments, and from the path it will take 5 different options, and from the list it will take 3 different options. So 5 into 3 it will be 15 different options will get. Okay, now this is the cluster service, and namespace I'll use the environment. It may be dev test prod. Okay, and yeah, so to save some time, I just again followed the same thing. I have already set up the infrastructure. The infrastructure we can run the pipeline in, as I explained before. Through pipeline we can create, or we can simply by using the script you can also run it. So I have already run this script. Okay, it will create. The script is available here under infra Azure CLI, and this is the script. So this will run, and it will create the Azure container registry as well as the AKS cluster. Or we can use this one also by using the bicep. Okay, and also in my previous lab I have already created the pipeline. You can run the pipeline as well. Next, I to talk to or communicate to the cluster. I have used this Azure AKS get credential, so it will connect to our AKS cluster. Then I have to create alias, and we can just to check. I'm just using kgetall to check whether it is connecting to the cluster or not. Okay, so again, since we are using Argo CD, we have to again create a namespace in the cluster as Argo CD. Then we have to deploy the Argo CD server. Then again, I have to run this port forward because I'm not using any load balancer or ingress to access. I'm trying to just locally access this. So I'm using Argo, this port forward. I have already run. It is listening to the port 8080. That's why I'm able to log into this Argo CD. It is running. Okay. So next step is in order to log in, again we'll use the username admin, and by using this we'll get the password. Okay, so we'll browse using this. So I have already browsed it. Then after that we need to, in setting, we have to connect to the repository. Here I have already connected. This is Kubernetes 821 deployment. Okay, this is our source of truth for this Argo CD server. Then after doing all this, the next step what we have to do is, okay, since in order to run this, I have created this multi-environment customized offset, right? So this need to be run. So for that I have used this one kubectl apply. Then I have mentioned the path. This offset I have to run. So I have just run using the namespace Argo CD. Okay, so it will try to, I mean, that Argo CD application, it will run and it will create 15 different Argo CD applications that will help in deploying the manifest or the services, whatever we define in that manifest, into the cluster. Okay, so we need to do this. We need to run it explicitly. Okay, so that I have already done. Now, if after that, what we have to do, since if we go to the customized manifest here in the base folder, I have the deployment. You can see I'm referring the image from the Azure Container Registry, and this is the tag. Okay, so that I have already run. You can see my um, Azure Container Registry here. Here, this order, product, and storefront already created some images because I have already run this pipeline. If you go to my order pipeline, right? So this order pipeline I have already run for the dev environment. This is for dev, this is for test, this is for prod. Okay, so that's why it created the Docker image with a new tag, and that is already synced to my repository here. Okay, so this is already synced. Now, now if you see my dev environment, the application is running, everything is running. Okay, but if you go to check the test namespace here, um okay, let's see why it is coming. Let me go to the application whether I have run that. Okay, so let's see one of these what type. Okay, it is taking this. Yeah, it is there already. Yeah, okay, I have already manually did some changes and deployed, check into the deployment. So Argo CD already pushed that. Okay, since the images are available and tags are available in the Azure Content Registry, so it is already deployed. Okay, without also running this pipeline, if you see, still it is waiting. So this part only, what it will do is it will uh, update that tag and uh, and push it into the repository. But some for some changes, right? I have already pushed it directly. So the Argo CD picked that and reconciled it. Okay. So we'll check with some other new image how we can do that by modifying something. Okay, for the storefront. Okay. So this way we can access it. Even I think for prod also it should go get. Yeah, everything is running perfectly. Now let's see. Go to one of the environment and we'll check if we see here in the development up storefront index.mail. So it shows welcome to this one. Okay, so the output should, you can see if you get dev and access this colon 80. We can also, you can see, yeah, you can see these changes. Okay, so if you want to check this one, because this one storefront still it is waiting here, let me trigger another one. Okay, with by changing, let's see, it should again update that. Okay, so in order to check that one, what I'll do here, let me remove all these things, then I'll just update it. Okay, now we'll see, it should trigger another pipeline. Just now it triggered. It will take some time to build this image. Again, it will push with a new tag. After that, we'll try to push one by one to the environments. Okay, and we'll check how it is, whether it is updating that application or not. Okay. Okay, so if you see here, um, so this customization, it is basically used for deploying to multiple environments. The same thing we have already done by using the Helm chat as well, by creating multiple um, YAML files. I mean values.yaml files that is specific to the environment, dev.yaml values.yaml, and test values.yaml. Similarly, prod values.yaml. So there are different ways that we can use. Also, we can do it by combining both uh, Helm and customization. Okay, so but we have already explained that we can also achieve by using Argo CD. and we'll see whether if time allows I can do that. Otherwise we'll check how we can use plugs as GitOps, like how we did for Argo CD as GitOps. So similarly we'll use plugs to deploy applications by creating the release pipeline. Okay, so in Argo CD what we did, we have created some pipeline, that is the continuous integration. Okay, but for deployment we have used Argo CD, that is the release pipeline. So Argo CD mainly it will sync with the repository, and whatever the information changed, right, it will pull that and deploy it into the cluster. Okay, so storefront is deployed already in dev environment. Now we can see, if you go to storefront here, base deployment 669 it was before. Let me just sync it. Okay, it did do a mistake here because that need to be deleted. I have to modify something here. Sorry, I have to do some changes. It is appending with that, so that should not work. So it should be 670. Okay, let me do then update it manually again. Yeah, I just updated it, and our repos got updated. So the Argo CD automatically should sync that. Okay, let's see. It is not synced yet. Okay, it is still pointing to 667. Right, just wait a few seconds. It is still doing. Now you can see storefront now processing. Okay, it is syncing now. Still in progress. Okay, here also it did the same thing. Okay, uh, so what I can do, okay, I have already changed it, so let me resync it again. Okay, let me resync it again, so it will update that. Yeah, it's synced. Now let's see. Now it's 670. Okay, so there is just some issue that, I mean, what is happening, right? While, okay, I have not told one thing to you here. In the pipeline, Azure DevOps pipeline, these are the pipelines, right? How I'm calling it, I mean, creating the Docker images and the image tag I'm adding for each of the uh, and calling and updating the repository for each of the environment. So for that, if you see, I'm using this application test and repo, right? Here I am trying to replace that tag. Okay, so here I'm trying to replace that. If already there is a tag, so it is not removing that and just simply appending that. So something wrong that need to be fixed here. Okay, so this part creating issue, it is simply appending the new tag but not removing the old tag. Okay, that is need to be fixed. Okay, now anyway we just did it manually just for the timing. I'll update it later. Now it is synced. If we now run this one, right, for dev moment, we can see here only it shows controls of pet store. Okay, instead of welcome this. Okay, so here, so that means everything like by modifying our uh, services here, if we modify and check in this, then automatically it is creating the pipeline. It is triggering the pipeline. That pipeline again creating the images, adding the tag, then the other stages like for dev test and prod stages. So those stages, it is updating the repository, our source of truth repository, and Argo CD will pull the new images or whatever changes, and it will reconcile and update to the cluster. Okay, so these are different way we learn how initially from the lesson 15, 16, 17, 18 till 21. We learn how we Argo CD used to deploy clusters, deploy application into cluster. Initially we learn by using the Minikube. Okay, so later in lesson uh, 19, 20, and 21, we did it through a pipeline and Azure AKS cluster. Okay, yeah, that's all for today. If you have any feedback, any suggestion, please let me know, and please like the video and subscribe it. Uh, Thank you so much for viewing. See you then. Bye bye.